to another episode of Hawk Talk here on 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater, Wednesday edition with the esteemed crew, plus one more who is a familiar face to Hawk Talk. We got Mikey, Bruno, also known as Carson, Hunter, and Mason, and then I'll have the returner introduce himself here.
Alrighty, my name is Austin Gabert. I am a marketing major, and we'll start with football. The Atlanta Falcons are my favorite team. A lot of controversy over that. I'm a big Bucks guy as well, especially with Damian Lillard now. And I somewhat follow the Brewers, and we'll get into the hockey segment later on.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, considering what you told me before the show. But with introductions out of the way, now we can dive right into the Warhawk Thought, which I tried getting a little creative with this one. What is a sport moment in history that's consistently always on your mind? It could either be positive or it could be really, really bad. I know there's two of us in here that have really, really bad experiences.
Wonder what that is.
Yeah. Could be by the same team, too, but I won't be saying that. Mikey, would you want to start off with your memory?
My memory's got to be the 2016 World Series, Game 7. That's easily one of my favorite baseball games of all time. Brian Rizzo, the call. Cubs win the World Series. Mike Montgomery, thank you for saving the game. Even with Joe Maddon's weird strategy with relieving Lester, I think the day after he pitched in Game 6, but it's easily one of my favorite memories out there. The curse of the Billy Goat being broken. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the amount of bumper stickers I see of that is just insane for it being in Wisconsin. But, good for you. Good for your team. Good for you. Bruno?
Well, for every good Chicago moment, there's double the amount of bad. So I'm going to go with 2018, the double doink.
Oh, yes. That is so good.
That was a phenomenal moment.
That's so good.
Nothing's really been the same since, and it was one of the only times in my lifetime that I was as confident about Bears team as I was with that team. They looked unbelievable, and then the rest is history, and I got nothing more to say about it. So,
at least you guys lost to the winners that year. That's something to be proud of.
I don't know. It's also something that drives you more nuts too, knowing that it could have been us.
Yeah, true. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but yeah.
They would have found a way to choke. So yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'll just say it, 28-3.
Wow.
I see it.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding. I probably see it once a day, just scrolling through, especially through Atlanta sports pages. But we're on the come up now. I mean, we all saw what, we saw what Kirk did, but I'll have a positive one, and that was Dame ending that Thunder era with that shot in the playoffs. That's what really solidified him as my favorite player. Was that moment.
Yeah, that's a good moment for his. Do you miss him in Portland? I'm assuming probably.
I do, but I mean now he's at it wasn't working.
Yeah.
The past 2 seasons I was watching, he was doing phenomenal, but I could tell there was friction there and something had to happen.
Yeah, it's always something behind the scenes that makes the strings pull. Hunter, what's your moment?
I'm going to go with the 2021 NBA Finals when Giannis blocked DeAndre Ayton's alley-oop from Devin Booker. I felt like that was a total momentum shifter in the whole series. I mean, it shows we went on to win the next 4 straight games. So that's probably my best sports moment of all time in my head.
That's a good one. I have a canvas of that specific moment too. That's up there for me too. Mason?
For me being a Packers fan, I got to actually go with a pretty recent one because this is one that really, really bothers me, especially watching it in person with a bunch of people who weren't Packers fans as well. When Anders Carlson missed that field goal that could have put us up 24-17 against the Niners last year in the playoffs. It was only a 41-yard field goal, especially looking at the way the kickers are kicking, 50-yard field goals like it's nothing right now today, only a season later, and seeing him miss a 41-yard field goal. And then, of course, we lose only by 3 in the end, exactly with them having 24, what we would have had.
Yeah.
That makes me lose my mind to this day. That makes me lose my mind.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of that Vikings game where they missed that 37-yard field goal,
Paul
which
Allen?
yeah.
The season can't end like that. The season can't end like that.
Yeah, you love those moments, but you also hate those moments because it makes the game so unique. But for me, I actually have I have a full game as my memory. It was the 2019. What? Who said? Okay, I thought I heard somebody say Malcolm Butler.
That was me. I did say
Yeah,
that.
I thought so.
It's
yeah.
better if you just accept it. Like it's,
Dude, I can't accept it. My friend sent me a video of like Marshawn Lynch actually crossing the goal line at the end of the game, and I was like, dude, what multiverse did you get that from? Take me there. But my memory is the 2019 game against the Seahawks and the 49ers, where the 49ers were 8-0, and they beat like all the best teams in the league at that point, and we were the first team to knock them down, give them their first loss of the season. They ended up losing 3 of their next 5, I think, after that. That was when Quandre Diggs was at his prime. Jadeveon Clowney had that fumble for a touchdown. 2019 Seahawks was such a special time, dude. I wish that this team would be back in that prime, but
I don't know if I'm right about this, but I think Green Bay eliminated.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say, is
year.
that the year that Green Bay beat them in the divisional?
they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why we got eliminated
Because
first
the
round?
Green Bay Packers
Or
were a
second
better
round?
football team than
No,
Seattle
it's no,
Seahawks.
Graham
no.
Mertz.
That's
Oh,
what
was it?
It's because Trey Flowers didn't know how to guard a single person. He I'm not going to get into that right now because I think he's the worst corner in NFL history. But
NFL history.
I think so. He's up there.
You know, there's like Kevin King, right?
Oh, he's worse than Kevin King, dude.
Yeah, Kevin King wasn't horrible. He just had that one play, and after that, it was just a spiral.
Yeah, Kevin King had, at least one good season. Did Trey Flowers? No, never. Even when he went to the Bengals for that Super Bowl, he wasn't good there either.
Was that a first down in that game by Jimmy Graham? I know you remember that play. That shut the game down.
Yeah, okay, we're moving on. So with memories said and done, we're going to move on to the first topic of today, which is Padres ain't playing. Padres are looking pretty good, I would say. Dodgers is a little concerning. I know last week we talked about the Dodgers being some of the favorites. I think the majority of us in here had the Dodgers going all the way, and now they're one game out from being eliminated, which is just crazy to me. And I believe they play later today in 2 hours. I believe at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
at 7. It's either
I
that
thought
or
so,
it's
yeah.
the latest game.
It's
I don't remember.
8:08.
Oh, 8:08. So
that
it's 3
Eastern?
hours. Okay.
Might be Eastern time because he's on MLB. Or no, he's on ESPN.
No, yeah, it'd be our time Central, and then the Yankees play at 6:08.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So.
Dodgers always have the later games because they're West.
Yeah, makes sense. But also the Phillies and Mets. That game is currently going on right now. Is it still 0-0?
0-0, and Jose Iglesias just struck out.
Ooh.
Mets did have
Okay.
the bases loaded in the
Runner,
second.
yeah, runner on first right now. JD Martinez is about to go up and bat.
Wow. And they just had bases loaded not too long ago. So
Yep, Phillies got out of that.
something must have happened. Yeah. But with this topic, we're just going to be talking about the Padres and Dodgers, as well as the Philly and Mets, and then just some other games. I know the Tigers won right before we went on air. So that's something nice to see. Yeah. So with that being said, we're just going to dive right into it. And Mason, what are your thoughts on this Padres team?
As a loyal LA Otani fan, it's tough to see us down 2-1 like this. I'm saying us because this is the team that I chose to bandwagon. And it's I'll be honest, it's not looking great. They just got stomped the game before last game, 10-2. That is not what I expected to see when I chose this team to be my bandwagon team. And seeing them go out the next game, lose by 1, it's not looking great. But I do still have faith. I'm not giving up yet. But it's looking scary, for sure. It's looking scary.
And since you're pro Dodgers, what do you think they got to do to pull out of this deficit right now?
I mean, of course you can get into the super technical stuff, right? You could get into all the baseball terms and all that, things that I might not even know myself. But I'm a strong believer in when you have guys that sometimes big-time players make big-time plays. And these are the type of things, these are legacy moments. Being down 2-1 in the series, it's not a great look. But imagine what Shohei Ohtani's career looks like in the long term if he can come back from this.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I feel like they just keep playing their game. They aren't playing horrible. Like last game, only losing by 1, that's not an end-of-the-world type thing. Maybe you guys saw something that I might not notice with a casual eye, but I wouldn't overly trip over it.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, the last game didn't really do spectacular.
Last
I mean,
2 games he hasn't.
yeah,
He's 1 for 8
yeah, which
Oh my
is
God.
in his last 8.
which is brutal to see.
I think he went 2 for 5 in game 1, and then after that has just shut down.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when the postseason first started, he was doing pretty decent, and then something just clicked, and I don't know. Maybe the spotlight's too bright for him. I know there's some players out there that are legendary throughout the year, but the moment they make it to their postseason, and this is his first postseason, they just can't clutch up. So I hope he can turn it around because I do like Ohtani, but I mean that's just not a good stat
So wait,
to have.
just to be clear, did I bandwagon a postseason choker?
Yes.
That's like my
You
least
might have.
favorite type of player.
Yes.
That's my
Yes,
single
you-
least favorite
you
type of
might
player.
have.
Quite literally did. They have not won. I don't think
Oh
they've
my
won
God.
a series since they won the World Series in 2020.
Yeah, 4
They might
years
have,
nobody
they might
ago.
have
told me.
won 1 or 2, but I know they haven't made it past the NLCS.
That's okay. The Tigers are still there. I'm good.
Tigers?
We saw you so happy when you announced that it was your team. We didn't want to like break it to you, so sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hunter, what do you think about this series?
I'm gonna give you one name and one name only. Fernando Tatis Jr.
That a boy.
Oh
That a
my,
boy.
he
Yep.
has been hot. I mean, I drafted him this year in MLB Fantasy, and he got hurt, but he has been hot in this postseason. He's got 4 home runs and 7 RBIs, which is insane.
Yes.
I honestly see this Padres team upsetting the Dodgers. It's weird because throughout the season, the Padres just. It's like they own the Dodgers in some type of way, or they just know the keys to the Dodgers. So I think Dylan Cease goes out tonight, shuts the Dodgers down, and the Padres move on. They're hot. They're hot.
Yeah,
the bats are hot.
that
for
they
them.
are. They have not let go of the gas yet. And was it? I'm blanking. Is it 2 years ago that Fernando got suspended? Like 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last year, I don't remember him having a big kind of season. So it's nice to see that he's pulling through in the playoffs here. Is there any other players on the Padres that you think are gonna step up to close out this game tonight?
Manny Machado
Yeah.
and Xander Bogaerts. I got them stepping up. I expect Tatis to hit another home run tonight, so I'm gonna hope on that.
Why not?
Ooh.
Why not? You know, big game.
It's fair.
Okay.
Because I'm worried if this goes back to LA that the Dodgers might take this. So I think the Padres gotta get it tonight, or it might be over for them. Because it's hard to win in LA.
Yeah, it is. It seems like it's hard to win in LA in anything.
Game 2 in LA.
They did.
10-2 against.
Could have been a fluke though. Could have been a fluke. Hopefully, we won't get to see
Just like the
them
Dodgers
go
whole
back.
season potentially.
Austin, what do you think about the Padres Dodgers?
First of all, $1 billion payroll and being down is just comical to me because you
Yep.
literally like cannot pay more than that and being down. I've always been kind of a Padres fan because I have family in San Diego, so I've seen the games. And watching Fernando live is just he's a good player. Like he's a really good player. But was it Mookie Betts is like 0 for 22 in his last 22 at bats? I saw something where he has just been awful at the line, and it just seems like the Dodgers like have really slowed down with their batting. Like
Yeah.
their offense is just really like I don't know what's been going on. I mean, again, they talked to Mookie, and I'm pretty sure he just said like I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm trying my best, but it does
Yeah.
not look
I'm
good.
sure
I
it's
mean-
because they haven't played baseball since the end of the regular season, though.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, the Padres have played through the wild card round. They got 2 extra games that the Dodgers have not had.
Yeah, they had that heavy momentum going into the
And when
postseason.
when
So
you sweep the Braves, who were supposed to, granted they were injury riddled, but when they were supposed to be 1 or 2 seed in the National League, and then you sweep them in the wild card, it can definitely give you momentum boost.
yeah, and Austin, you mentioned that their offense has not been up to par. I mean, yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing that I saw for the Dodgers. I mean, having most of their hitters, I mean, which is practically an all-star team, only hitting like once or none on 4 at bats is absurd to see for that team. And you were on the show at the end of last semester where we were talking about it's boom or bust for the Dodgers. So
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to go after this if they do lose tonight and they're out of the postseason.
No, I mean, their pitching hasn't, I mean, they've been, injury riddled and everything. So having to rely on your guys that you are paying, now $1 billion and they're just not showing up. I mean, that's failure.
Yeah,
There's no other way to put it.
It's not a good sign to have. Bruno, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, when you see 6-5, you're like, oh, maybe their offense wasn't struggling, but if it weren't for Teoscar Hernandez's grand slam, I mean, it's a 6-1 game. They only had 6 hits. The game they got blown out, they didn't really hit the ball too well, and then, yeah, their starting pitching has been pretty problematic. I mean, Buehler's been struggling all year, but 6 runs in the second inning, I mean, that's not going to win you too many games, and that's all the Padres ended up needing was that 6 runs. And then I can't remember who pitched in game 2, but he also got the loss, gave up 4 or 5 runs or something like that. So, yeah, starting pitching, hitting, 2 things that are definitely keys to victory in the MLB. So, got to put it together. But I did say Dodgers in 5. So
you're sticking with it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's rough. Oh. I mean, yeah.
I don't want it to happen, but
So you think that it's more so attributing to the poor pitching for the Dodgers than it is the hitting for the Padres?
I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, 6 earned runs in the second inning, that don't happen very often. And if that doesn't happen, I mean, they win. So I don't know. I'm not. They got to figure it out. I mean, ASAP. So if they don't, their season's over. But I mean,
Right, yeah.
we've seen them do it all throughout the year. So I mean, they can pull something together, but they're kind of running out of time. So
I mean, sticking with the pitching comment, King for the Padres had 5 errors in 5 innings, which is, I mean, a little,
Earned runs.
yeah, which is
Well,
a
yeah,
little.
I had a stat: 9 out of the 11 runs scored last night were in the first 3 innings, which just shows how bad the starting pitching
Yeah,
was. So.
I mean, it's definitely not a battle of pitching this series. It's definitely a lot of hitting, which is, I think the public kind of likes to see more of.
Right.
I mean, unless it's your team, then you want the pitching to be superb, but that's not always the case. Mikey, your thoughts on the? I know you were high on the Padres, so
I still am.
Yeah.
I still am very high on the Padres. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of it is because their bullpen has just been so automatic so far this postseason. They've been incredible. I mean, as he mentioned, the Dodgers had their 5 runs in the first 3 innings against Michael King. Yeah, they blew up Michael King, who this season has done a really good job of limiting runs and limiting balls in the air. But when it comes down to it, you're not going to win games if you can't do anything against the bullpen. As soon as Jeremiah Estrada hit the hill, that game was over. It was. It's as simple as that. And yeah, sure, the Padres offense was completely slowed down, but even then, your offense needs to be electric. You have the best offense in baseball. You have Ohtani, you have Freeman, you have Mookie Betts, and you cannot execute whatsoever. It's disgusting. And I mentioned it. Yeah, you can have the greatest season of all time, arguably, when you're Shohei Ohtani, but can you make it matter when you enter October? And so far, besides Game 1, I guess, he hasn't. He hasn't made it. He hasn't made anything of it. It's simple. The Dodgers are just they've gone all in, and it looks like the Padres just came in with a king ace of hearts, and the flop was just a jack queen 10. So I just don't really see the Dodgers rallying. I mean, they just lost 2-10 at home, went into San Diego, and their offense was electric to start. But the Padres was even more electric to start. So I think Padres are going to take this one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's it would have to be the most falling out of the century for the Padres to lose Game 4, I think.
I just think, the Padres are a much more consistent batting team, and that momentum, I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Baseball is all about getting hot at the right time, and I think that ever since they have been on fire, they have not cooled down whatsoever. So it's really nice to see. But I'm going to stick with you, Mikey, and we're going to talk about the Phillies-Mets game, that series going on. Do you think that the Mets, it's really going to come down to Mets-Padres?
I don't know, because right now the Mets haven't really been executing at all with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
They've had bases loaded, they've had runners at third, and they just haven't. You know what they look like? They're looking like the Chicago Cubs right now. Just can't hit the ball when there's runners in scoring position. It's impossible, apparently. But right now the Phillies have 2 runners in scoring position, and it's Alec Boehm right now up to bat. He's got a 3-2 count. But ultimately, I think if the Mets can actually start hitting with runners in scoring position, I think 100% they could take this series. And, I mean, so far, Lindor and Pete Alonso, they've proven to be big bats. But one guy that really showed out this season, Jose Iglesias, I feel like he hasn't gotten a whole lot of recognition. I mean, he was literally just a Latin pop star, and the Phillies just scored off of, I don't even know what just happened.
That's the first score of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
know
1-0.
what just happened. I did not see it because I was looking at my notes, not the game. But Jose Iglesias was literally a pop star going into this season, and then he just got called up from AAA to play for the Mets, and he's just been a bona fide star all of a sudden. But a lot of it also, I just think the Phillies aren't as red hot as Red October thinks they are, even though they just scored, but that doesn't matter. It's just a 1-0 ball game, but Red October has absolutely struggled so far, no matter what you want to think. Yeah, they won Game 2. They won off a walk-off against the 6th seed at home. That's their one game win it was. The Mets have at least run away with the game. Yeah, the Game 3 was rather close the whole time, but they ran away with it, made it 7-2. Phillies just couldn't rally. It's that simple. And I just don't think the Phillies are really going to keep rallying. They rallied in Game 2, but they haven't rallied in Game 1 or 3. I think it's going to be quite over, even if it goes to Philadelphia. Yeah, it's the toughest postseason spot to play in for baseball. But the Phillies last year, there was the same thing. It was so hard to play in it, and the Diamondbacks walked in and just took the pennant from them. So I think the Mets could 100% win it. The Phillies could, but I think it's more of a long shot for the Phillies than it is the Mets because they realize they're playing with house money here.
Sticking with the Brewers curse, I like it. Bruno?
Blessing.
Well,
No.
it's probably a good thing that the Mets are down 1-0 because come 8th or 9th inning they'll find a way.
That's true.
As we've seen.
That is 100%
That's true.
So yeah, I don't know. The Mets are just finding the ways to get it done late in the game when it matters. Which I mean,
Pete Alonso.
when you're sneaking into the playoffs like that, sometimes that's all you can really ask for. And yeah, Pete Alonso. I mean, I know he homered yesterday too. So
I love you, Pete Alonso.
Oh my gosh, the glazing.
I do got the Mets. Even if they don't win tonight, I think they'll pull it off in Game 5. And I would like to say that before this series started with the Brewers, I said the Mets are going to beat the Brewers. Called me crazy. Said that the Mets are going to beat the Phillies. Called me crazier. So I'm just playing to prove people wrong at this point. So go Mets.
I did not call
All right.
you crazy for the first round. I just want to mention that.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe the second round I called you a little crazy, but
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
yeah, most people did, which is understandable. But you got to have your hot takes, because then you're the genius when it plays out. So
That's true.
That's
Mets-
true.
Mets in
ESPN
5,
take
I got.
notes.
Mets
Let's
in
put this
5.
guy in first take right now.
So I'll ask you this, Bruno, and I'll also open this up to everyone. What's the defining trait for the Mets? Is it their offense or is it just their clutch plays? What?
And I mean, at this point, it's kind of their clutch plays. I mean, yeah, I'd say the offense has kind of picked up the load this far in the postseason and just finding a way to get it done when they need to. I mean, pitching hasn't been bad by any means, but I mean, the offense is coming through when they need it. So I put 2 and 2 together, and that's how they got here. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really like. I love it when a team comes in clutch like that. It's nice. I also do like their pitching. I might be mispronouncing his name. Manea.
Sean Mania.
Mania. Yeah, I'm so bad with pronunciations.
I
but
thought it was Manea too, and then I realized like the day before he
Yeah, he was
he
solid.
pitched like
Yeah.
the
Solid
first
last night.
6 innings with only 3 hits. That's a good pitcher right there. I mean, that's something nice to see. So they can balance it both on defense and offense.
It'd be nice if Quintana could do that, but he's got 70 through not even 4 innings so far. So it looks like he's not going to be replicating that at all.
And before I throw it to Austin, I just want to throw out an interesting fact. The Mets have never had a clinching moment at Citi Field since its opening in 2009. That's
Oh, look at those stats.
yeah, absolutely.
tonight's the night.
Yeah,
It's been a
very well could be. That'd be something to see for New York. Austin, your thoughts about the Mets?
It's Mania, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he dedicated the performance to his aunt who died shortly, and I feel like in sports, whenever someone close to you dies, like within the span of like 3 days, you know you're gonna probably have a little more to play for and do a lot better. But yeah, I mean the Brewers curse. I don't know how it's still going.
I don't know either.
That's crazy.
It's
to me,
remarkable.
but yeah, the Mets. I mean, it may be clutch in close moments, but a win is a win. Like it's as long as you're able to squeak by, and the Phillies just have kind of gone cold on offense as well
Yeah.
as their bullpen. It's just all these teams that were supposed to come in as these hard hitters just aren't anymore.
I want to shout out Kyle Schwarber because he's the funniest player in baseball ever. Because he'll either hit like a bloop single or it's going to be like a 500-foot bomb to right field every single time.
Or a strikeout.
Yeah, or a strikeout. It's either a strikeout, a bloop single, or just an absolute missile to right field every single time.
Oh man. Hunter, your thoughts on the Mets, Phillies?
Yeah, just the Brewers curse is crazy. I don't know how it's still a
Yeah,
thing.
it's remarkable.
It's
I mean,
crazy. It's really crazy.
There's got to be somebody
What is
pulling
it-
the strings
Yeah, what has
somewhere.
it been since? I think Chris said yesterday it was like since 1981 or
Yep.
something. Something
That's
crazy like
how
that.
Yeah.
has that been? That's got to be like the longest curse, like just in sports.
Yeah.
I don't know. The
it's-
curse of the Billy Kill
Hey,
was
we had
pretty
to suffer
long.
through it. Now you
I
guys.
suffered a while, all right?
But the Mets pitching has looked very good. Their bullpen has also looked very good
Yes.
for them. I mean, Pete Alonso, since he hit that 3-run homer against the Brewers, he's looked electric. I think he has 2 home runs in his last 2 games, which
Yeah.
is outstanding. I mean, they're getting hot when it matters, and that's what baseball's all about. It's
That is,
when do the
yep.
bats start rolling. I mean, you can be the last seed and then go in against like the Dodgers, for example, and get hot and boom, you win. And the pitching's hot too. I mean, yeah.
Lighting up at the right time, yeah.
I mean, this is kind of, I just saw this just now. The Phillies have 1 hit and they've scored 1 run. The Mets have 4 and scored 0. And that's kind of how the Brewers' last
Ooh.
game was against the Mets. The Brewers were hidden. They were hidden. Not off their starting pitcher. Once their bullpen came in, the Brewers got hot. And then, just you get 2 on and then Alonso hits a nuke and there it goes. Then you're down. I mean, it's just about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah. And for Philly in the last game that they had, I mean, they're already off to a better start, but they had 5 total hits on 30 at bats, which is absurd to see. I mean, that's 2 teams that just cannot hit properly with the with the Dodgers and the Phillies not being able to execute it, and that just goes to show getting hot at the right time, like we've said multiple times on the show already. Is showing to fruition already. Mason, finish us up here. What do you think about the Mets?
I'm a strong believer, unless it's like a team that I absolutely hate, and whichever team beats my team, which I usually just cheer for the home teams, I'll end up just assuming that they're going to go far, and it's looking like the Mets are doing that right now. They're up 2-1 right now, and they've shown to be a clutch team, so I wouldn't be surprised if this game they end the series here and move on. But yeah, I'm looking at it, and like you guys have all been saying over and over and over, it's about getting hot at the right time, and the Mets are showing that that's kind of what's happening for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a series that they go on to win.
You said the score is now 2-1?
No, he was talking about the
No, the
series.
series.
Oh,
series,
okay. I was gonna say, when did that?
No,
happen?
it's 1-0.
All right, gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to our next topic of the day, which is Hawks and hockey. Officially, hockey season is undergone. First week is done. It's kind of weird how a week is already gone, and there's only about like 4 games that have happened just because the preseason was a little bit different than other leagues. But the one game that I'm sure everybody has been talking about lately is Utah beating the Blackhawks. And then I'd also like to touch a little bit on the Devils and Sabres just because that's the first game of the season. And then if you guys have any other games that you're either looking forward to seeing the rest of the week or that have already happened.
Kraken Blues. Kraken Blues.
2-0.
You know,
2-0
do you have a
in
vendetta
10
against me today? What's going on?
Yes. My team lost, so I have to rub it in your face. And your team lost too.
Catch me outside. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I hate Pete Mrazek.
All right, but the first game that I'd like us to talk about is, well, we have a fair share of Blackhawk fans in here, actually, so I think we should talk about that game first against Utah's first franchise win against the Blackhawks yesterday. So, with that being said, we're going to start it over with Mason. What did you think about this game? Did you have a chance to see it, or were you only able to catch the scoreboard?
Hockey is not my personal. This is going to be my second year trying to get into hockey, and it's just ironic enough that it works out for this game right here. I did decide this is going to be a league that I want to get into, and I don't want to just pick an amazing team off the rip. And Chicago's the nearest place to here, so I'm a de facto Blackhawks fan for here. I'm very aware that they are not a great team at the moment by any means, and that they're rebuilding. And what I didn't expect was for them to lose to a team that is like, isn't this like Utah's first game?
Yeah, that was their first
regular season
franchise
game?
regular season game.
It wasn't like an expansion team. They just moved from Arizona.
It used to be the Arizona Coyotes. So, like, for the
Okay.
franchise of being a Utah team, it was their first, but not
Okay.
as like it's.
It wasn't. It wasn't an expansion. It was just the Arizona Coyotes moved from Zona to Utah.
Yeah.
Okay, then I feel less bad about that then. But I mean, from my understanding, the Blackhawks just are not a great team. So I wasn't actually expecting too much from them. I wasn't actually able to catch the game. I'm not really sure when hockey games come on. I need to do a little bit more research into that.
usually
Because hockey is a sport that I find interesting and like I want to get into.
There's
I've
2
been to
games
a
on
game
tonight
before.
on TV, so.
Okay, yeah. then
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure they're on at like 6, and then they can go as late to like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's one at 6:30 and one at 9 tonight, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
One of them is the Toronto versus the Canadians.
The Avs,
so.
baby.
Okay.
Yeah, Avs, yeah.
But yeah, it's not a great look losing to a new team, but considering that it's not like a brand fresh new team, it's all right. But it is one of those things where like now for the rest of the time you look at the Utah Hockey Club and their first win is against the Blackhawks. That does kind of suck.
Yeah, it's a little tarnishing on what's to come for this season. But I mean, in your guys' defense, you guys haven't really had the best defense for a while now. I mean, even the goalie isn't really that spectacular. But I have a feeling when Lev Shinov comes back from his injury, that team they potentially. I feel like if Lev Shinov was in this game, they potentially could have won that against
I think we
Utah.
Let up 5 goals if Leshanov was in.
I mean, hey, those first 2 goals were pretty fly. I will not lie.
But I mean, didn't they have like back-to-back top at least 5 picks or top 3 picks?
Top two, I think, right?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. I know
Bedard
Connor
went one.
Bedard.
Yeah, Bedard was number
First
1, Lev
pick.
Shinov was number 2.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So
this year
I
we're getting
mean,
number 3.
Very
it's
well
only so much you
could.
can expect. It's only so much you can expect.
Hunter, your thoughts on the Utah Blackhawks game?
Yeah, kind of like Mason. I've always tried to get into hockey. I used to go to a lot of the UW Badger games. I had season tickets at one point when I was younger. But anyways, moving on. It's just the same story for the Blackhawks. It's just the defense is not good. The goalie isn't good. It's Connor Bedard he's out there,
Carrying the team pretty much, yeah.
in his second year.
Had one of the 2 goals.
Yeah, Utah scoring 5. Connor Ingram for the Utah looked very good in goal. Had some very crucial saves in that game. I mean, Utah looked very good. They had some problems with defensive clearances at times, but I mean, they still won 5-2, so that's what it's all about.
And something that was a little highlight for the game, I guess, for both sides, is that the face-off win percentage was 50-50 each time. So that's a little bonus to look at for the future of the season. Austin, your thoughts?
I mean, it's always, first of all.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you got to mention this is what's your hockey team? I
want to follow the Utah Hockey.
Yeah,
Club
there
this
we
year.
go. There we go.
Because that way, if
Were you-
they do good,
Were
I
you
can't
an
be a
Atlanta
bandwagon.
Thrashers guy
Sure.
when they were around?
No,
No.
I have not really been around hockey, but we're not even going to talk about last year.
Yeah. Man, what a fun time. Those
But-
Flames.
I think Utah Hockey Club, they need an actual name or mascot.
Oh yeah,
They're working on
this
that.
is
Year to
just
figure
like
this
the
out.
Washington football team. This is only
yeah.
going to be
I
a
know.
1 year thing. They actually had a poll of what team names are going to be out there. I think top 3 finalists. I forget the other
It's
two,
like-
but number 1 was the Utah Yeti.
Yeah, I think
So-
maybe
I like
Outlaws
that.
or
Which-
something.
Yeah, Utah
The
Outlaws was
problem
another
is they had a
one.
year to figure
That's
it
what
out.
I'm talking about.
A full
at least
year,
at least with
and
the
they announced like, oh yeah, we'll be Utah Hockey Club for more time. It's like you had so much time already.
Yeah.
Why label just a hockey club?
Like at least with when they were the football team, it was like, all right, they had like 2 months to decide something.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
very compact time to like decide a whole brand. Like you had a year to decide your brand, and you did
Yeah,
not.
because they knew
execute
that
at
they were
all.
going to move, so they could have gotten a head start on it, anyways. But nonetheless, what are some factors of this game that caught your eye, Austin?
Well, I mean, their offense was pretty good. I mean, they
For
had,
Utah?
like, yeah,
Yes.
they actually, from the Coyotes' history of just kind of being bad. I think this is going to be a nice fresh start. I don't ever. I remember we talked about it last semester. I wanted them to go to Utah. And again, I don't know how they didn't come up with a name with.
Yeah,
Because we
it's
talked
just
about it
bizarre.
last semester.
It's a little
as well,
bizarre.
But yeah, they again, Connor Ingram 24 saves. I mean, that's really good. But I believe Clayton Keller scored, and I'm pretty sure he was the first captain to score in a franchise's inaugural game since the Atlanta Thrashers in 1999. So
Yeah, Thrashers
Yeah,
guy.
that's ironic.
yeah,
Definitely a Thrashers guy back in the day.
He's got to be. He's got
Definitely
to
a
be.
Thrashers guy back in the day. As soon as the Thrashers were out of town, they're like, all right, I'm done with the NHL.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not huge on hockey, but why did they move? Is it kind of like the Oakland
Just
Athletics
their-
situation?
A little
where-
bit,
It was
yeah.
just a-
Didn't have
owner was a terrible human
the
being.
funding was an issue. Getting people to go to the games was a little bit of an issue.
having
The
an
stadium was
NHL
one of the
team
worst
in
stadiums.
Arizona just feels.
Yeah.
it just feels.
They were
Counterintuitive.
playing in like a
Utah
4,000
also-
seat arena.
Yeah,
last
it was
year.
like
Oh,
They're playing
wow.
like a
it was
college
almost
stadium.
it was
Yeah,
almost like a
Arizona
college
State.
stadium.
They're
Yeah,
just
it
letting
was.
It was
people for
Arizona
free.
State.
And
Yeah.
I mean, immediately with this first game in their new arena, you can tell that the environment is completely different. I mean, there was
Here's the-
fans actually.
Here's the issue: is how long are they going to be sold out? That's the thing. You know?
I don't think they're gonna be
I
sold
think-
out.
Well, I mean, game one they were, or
Depends
first
how long
game
they keep
were
winning.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say, like if they have a iffy season, I guarantee those seats will be pretty empty.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, yeah.
I think as soon as like everyone in the area is like, all right, let's go to Utah Hockey Club game, and then as soon as they go to one, it's like, all right, I did it, cool. I
Yeah.
don't care anymore.
Once they change the name to the Yetis, though, you got to go.
Oh
again.
my gosh, they got to keep the colors though because
Yeah,
the
I was
colors
gonna
are
say,
I like-
really,
I like
really
it a lot.
fly.
They did a good job
It's almost
with
like the Milwaukee Admirals. I
Yeah,
was actually
it's
thinking
really
that
close to the
it was
Admirals.
really nice seeing
Go Ice
their
Hogs.
colors. What?
Go Rockford Ice Hogs, way over the Milwaukee Admirals.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you didn't even say Chicago Wolves.
No, because the Ice Hogs are the Blackhawks affiliate,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
and I'm like 30 minutes from Rockford too. So
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, makes sense. Bruno, what do you think about this game?
Well, they pretty much hit on the basics, but yeah, Bedard started his sophomore season pretty strong. I think you said he had a goal, but I saw he just had 2 assists.
Bedard, yeah,
So,
he had the.
2 assists.
Yeah, 2. Just
Oh yeah,
still
I
those.
misread.
amazing
My mistake.
assists,
Yes,
I
he
must add.
did
So
have
he
two
was
two
responsible
assists.
for both of their goals, which is a good start to the campaign. But yeah, defense struggled. Be nice when they get their old rook in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Coyotes haven't been impressive in a while. So I mean, a 5-2 win to start. Maybe they just needed to change cities, but I would like
Cities?
to see
You say
States.
cities?
what.
You say
States.
cities or states?
You said cities.
Well, same thing.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
they,
okay.
they did switch cities too. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, I just thought it sounded like something else for a second. I just had to clarify.
Oh no, yeah. I said they changed cities and states. If we're getting technical, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see their second game tomorrow against the Islanders, who are usually pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the Blackhawks aren't good by any means. So I don't think this is telling us too much. So we'll have to see if Utah can keep it going, and hopefully the Blackhawks can at least be better than they were last year, and then just keep improving because they're rebuilding. So that's the whole point. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a little concerning when the first game of the season and they had 17 penalty minutes for the Blackhawks. They also had just under one shot than Utah. They had 26. Utah had 27. So they have to be more accurate. They have to be more concise and accurate and not sloppy because penalty minutes will get you. Mikey, your thoughts on this
Hey,
game?
Pete Mrazek.
Oh.
Dude, we need to get the dude out of the post. I gotta say it. Dude,
Yes,
dude cannot save
funniest
a puck.
rant.
He's not good. We keep starting the dude, and then he allows like 3 to 4 goals every game. Our offense cannot keep up with it. Bernard is going to carry this franchise, and I hate to have to say that because it's true. But I mean, there were so many opportunities from the forwards as well. Bernard would throw or would just put a perfect puck in play. Net's wide open. Teddy not paying attention, and they whiff and just hit the post or miss the goal entirely. Almost every single time. There's a specific instance, I think it was second period, really early, before the first goal. Bedard had a perfect pass almost behind the back, and the forward whiffed it all the way left. He was right in front of it, and he whiffed it to the left. I don't understand how that's possible, but the defense has been awful. Obviously, Levshunov not in. I'm very excited to see what he can do, but we'll find out what he can do when he's on. And also, where in the world did Taylor Hall go? Dude, I'm a big Taylor Hall supporter, and like ever since he's come to Chicago, he's been just inconsistent, injury-filled mess, and it's kind of making me sad. I'm a big Taylor Hall supporter,
Yeah.
even when he was in Arizona.
Hockey, when you're injury prone, I mean, excuse me, that's something that really never escapes you. I'm really hoping that Patrick Kane isn't starting to be like that. Yeah, he's old, but like it's like back-to-back seasons
Patrick
where
Kane.
he's got a big injury. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's out for what, majority of the year? He's
yeah,
supposed to be?
it's going to be a good chunk of months, yeah, for a
Makes me
bit.
sad.
But there's one other game that I'd like us to talk about, and then I'll do my little spiel on the Kraken game because I have to. And that is the Devils Buffalo Sabres game, just because that was the first game of the season and it was overseas in Prague. So a little bit interesting there. There's also a little bit of a rivalry with that game, too, with the former Buffalo's coach, the coach on one team was the former coach of the other, and I'm blanking on which is which.
I
And
think it
Sierra
was the
told me which one.
I think it was the former Sabres coach, I think.
I believe so too.
I might be wrong. I don't know. I unfortunately missed that game.
Yes,
I
the new
forgot it was
coach for the
happening.
Sabres, Landy, was the former Devils coach. So okay, yeah, we just had a little bit of a brain fart for a second, but we're gonna start with Hunter this time. What did you think of this game?
Are we talking about both games? Because, I mean, they did play two.
Just the first game
Just the first
because
game?
it was the
Okay.
first one of the season and it was over in Prague, so it's a little bit interesting. This one we're gonna talk a little bit quicker than the first one, just so that we can get through to the next few topics.
Okay. Well, looking at the score, it was 4-1 to the Devils, so it does look like the Sabres struggled. The Sabres haven't been to the playoffs in 10, 12 years? Is that the Sabres, or is that a different team?
I believe that is the Sabres.
it's been a while.
Yeah, Sabres have not been
pretty
great.
sad for
Yeah.
quite a long
They're
time.
they're up there with the Flames.
Yeah, so they look to be off to their early struggles again. Doing some research, I figured out that Buffalo struggled on the power play and they couldn't create chances, and it looks like the Devils pounced on them having a power play. So 4-1 to the Devils in game one. Just a dominant victory to start off the season. That's
Yeah.
where you get your confidence, is the early start.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see for Devils fans to get that win. I mean, if you don't get that win, that's more concerning than getting the win. But yeah, it's a great way to start the season. Mason, what did you think about this game against the Devils in Prague, the 4-1 win for the Devils?
I mean, starting off a season in another country too, that's like a great way to start off. You see, and I know we're only talking about the first game, but in both games they held the other team to just 1 point. So you got to be happy as a Devils fan looking at your defense being able to still put up numbers on offense but still hold the other team down on defense. And starting off the season the way they did, you'd love to see your team get off to a hot start. So I feel like if you're a New Jersey Devils fan, you're in for hopefully a good season.
Yeah, I mean, this is they're already. I have higher hopes on this season than I did for them last season, just because 2 seasons ago they had that element of surprise and they were like one of the best teams all year, and then come the new season they lost it and they just could not get back. And I'm hoping that they have something with this new coach as well. So exciting to see, Mikey.
Jonathan Kovacevic is, I don't know how to say that name.
Hockey names are pretty
Dude, he's
pretty
got
hard.
a rough name. Kovacevic, I don't know. I'm trying my best. I probably botched it, but he ultimately got the 3 stars, goal, assist, and 2 points from the defensive position, which is very impressive. Grabbing a goal from the defense is very hard. Can we please trade for Jacob Markstrom, please? Please, Chicago? Can we please get Pete out of the net? I would really appreciate it. Please get Jacob Markstrom because he was incredible, only allowing the 1 goal, obviously. And in 31 shots, he only allowed that 1 goal with a save percentage of .968. So he was automatic. But yeah, Devils overall defensively, obviously Kovacevic was great, but when you're talking about getting past the defense, yeah, they got to work on that a little bit and limit the shots, especially against Buffalo.
Bruno?
Yeah, back to what you were saying 2 years ago, I remember watching them in the playoffs and kind of had a down year last year, but the Sabres actually finished better than them last year, but I don't think the Sabres are anything to worry about. And,
No.
they might have a goalie problem because, I mean, he gave up 3 goals on just 22 shots. But yeah, I do think the Devils are a lot better than they showed last year, and I think they'll probably go back to the playoffs. I don't have any expectations for the Sabres because, after all, they're the Sabres. What have they really done lately? So, yeah, I think it was a good start for the Devils. 4-1 in hockey, you know, that kind of tells who was dominating. So, yeah.
Yeah, and with those the goals that you were talking about, it wasn't even their starting 6. It was their bottom 6 had the majority of their goals, which was
22 shots
crazy.
is not a lot in the NHL game.
Just shows how important depth is really in the NHL. You can have all the stars you want in the first line, but if that third and fourth
yeah,
line,
you're only out there for minutes.
Hey,
so.
if that second to fourth line cannot execute, it's not gonna matter.
Yeah, 'cause they're out there just as much as
Because
the top
Bedard's a
guys are.
phenomenal player, but when there's virtually just a bunch of nobodies on the bottom lines, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and something that I would like to say before I throw it to you, Austin, to finish up the topic is Seamus Casey scored his first goal in the NHL in that game, and was the 5th player in NHL history to score their first goal outside of North America. So just a nice little fun fact for the Devils there. But Austin, real quick, what did you think of this game?
First of all, does the NHL usually do like global games?
I didn't think
Not
so.
particularly
Or is it more like an
often.
Yeah, that's
They do it
pretty rare.
way less than football does, like
Yeah.
London and Brazil games. So.
Because
Well,
I think-
that's because also American football is like, strictly
Yeah,
America. Hockey
yeah.
is a global thing. Like every sport, Russia plays it. Obviously, Canada plays it. Like you can go overseas to Europe, and there's gonna be I don't remember what the league's called, but there's a league over there, professional league.
There's like
Well, there's a
5
ton of-
leagues,
there's a
yeah.
ton of them.
There's a ton of
because
leagues.
I think it's always nice when you expand like the NHL or like football, how they're trying to expand, even if there's other leagues, like how the NBA plays the preseason games against different leagues. That's always nice. But yeah, the Devils, I mean, they had 2 first period goals. I mean, everyone's kind of said anything, but they just kind of took the game away early and once you have the lead early on, it's really, it's your game to lose at that point. So having the depth that they have and yeah, scoring 3 goals on 22 shots, that's pretty efficient. I mean, compared
Yeah.
to the defense.
Something to look into for this season for the Devils. Now, before we go into the football topic, I gotta talk about the Kraken.
Yes, you
'cause-
do.
So you didn't have to get yourself into this, but
Yeah, I have to. Like
Yeah.
Austin said, I just gotta face the facts.
Indeed.
I mean, the face-off was abysmal. Only had like 43% success with the face-offs. Offense was not that great. I mean, kind of like choked towards the end. Led the game with penalty minutes, so that's great. Really sloppy team with 13 minutes.
Also, that 17. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're
been
getting
worse.
there. We're getting
Could've
there.
been worse.
I guarantee the next game we're gonna have
At
like
least
20.
you're like a third-year team, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You have an excuse.
Yeah.
We don't.
We have a semi-excuse. With one of the opposing goals being on a power play, we're usually pretty good at maintaining power plays, but could not stop the goal from Jordan Cairo this time. And being within less than 2 minutes apart is absurd. Defense just couldn't do anything, and it was nice that we signed Joey Dacker to a 5-year deal. Still concerning about that defense, but we'll
Your
worry
defense
about
could
that
do
when we.
stuff until those 2 minutes
Hopefully.
where you let up 3 goals straight.
All right. Yeah. That's a good segue. Tackling Thursday Showtime is our next topic today, and this potentially could be the final topic, judging by time. So we'll have to probably save the mini game for another time, which is very unfortunate because I was really looking forward to it. However, this is just talking about tomorrow's Thursday night game. The Seahawks and the 49ers, usually one of the best rivalries in the league. But however, this year the Seahawks have been fraudulent and the 49ers are back to their 2020-21 selves. So overall, what do you guys think of this game? Who's got the upper edge? I know that Seattle's got quite a few of injuries of star players, some being Woolen, Uchenna, and Murphy, to highlight that, and then there's a couple of questionable players. But overall, what do you guys think about this game tomorrow night?
You still always put on a show.
They normally do.
They normally put on a show, and it's usually like a season split in the series. It's usually 1-1 every single time, I'd say. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's obviously a few instances where the other team was just that bad that it was just an easy 2-0 sweep, but I think it should be a show. On facts on who's winning, I don't know the whole injury situation, like how long a lot of these injuries are. I think a lot of these are just like week to week type of thing.
Well, Uchenna, he was on IR.
Well, for like
you're
San
talking about
Fran.
for San Fran? Yeah, no, San
For San
Fran's
Fran,
are a little bit more day to day.
I know,
Yes,
I know, like Devo's hurt, and obviously CMC is probably not going to be back till later in the year from what I've been seeing.
If that.
Yeah, like I think the best case scenario for him was like week 7, but I think that's super rare from what I've seen. But I think it will be a good show. But I think ultimately, if Debo is back, that just kind of gives another big threat for this San Fran passing game. And Brock Purdy is at a particularly down year, I feel like, though. So, I mean, maybe Brock Purdy doesn't perform here against Seattle, but with the secondary a little bit weaker than normal, the defense being a little weaker without Uchenna and Reek, I think San Francisco will probably take it, but obviously it could go either way. It's any given Sunday except on a Thursday.
Right. Yep. No. Sorry. Yeah. Just had to accept the truth.
well, I got some more truth for
Oh
you.
no.
Well, after October 27th, I think the Seahawks are going to be 3-5.
What?
So,
Are you
well, they're at the
serious?
got a
Falcons
point.
and then Bills, and I don't think they're beating the Niners. So, I guess that's my hot take for the day. But I don't see them getting past the Niners. I do think that
I mean, they did.
they might be frauds. I mean, who have they beat?
Not the Giants.
The Seahawks. Oh my
the
gosh, dude!
Giants.
Come on now. It's been over a week.
Yeah, who have they beat? The Patriots by 3, Broncos by 6.
But what
I mean,
about
the
those Dolphins?
Okay,
Yeah.
Not
What
the
about
brutally.
how about those Dolphins?
Yeah. How about those Dolphins?
Not the Giants without their best offensive player.
You know, who gave you speaking privileges? All
the
right.
First Amendment.
Well, I don't think I'm
That's
going to say
fair
anything
enough.
much better.
Fair
but
enough.
no, I do think the Seahawks, they're not. Maybe they're frauds, but they're not going to be terrible. I think once the second half of the season hits, they'll be fine. But they do have kind of a tough 3-game stretch coming on, and the Falcons are red hot. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, we are.
I think, no, not when we go against you. You're not going to be red hot.
But yeah,
are
I'm
you
not
gonna do?
worried about the Niners. I mean, they still got all the pieces. They'll figure it out come playoff time. They're just a little banged up, I guess, and
A little banged up, a little frazzled, not playing
yeah,
their
I'm
not playing their hardest.
Not
Yeah.
worried at all.
I don't want
about
to draw
the
away from
Niners.
football, but Alonzo once again is up to bat with 2 runners
Oh
on
my
base.
gosh, dude! If it happens, that would be
I really hope it does.
wow. You know, they have a blueprint at this point. They just got it down to the mark. Austin,
Okay. Do I think the Seahawks will lose? Yes. But
man, come on.
hear me out. Getting
Shouldn't have brought
Kenneth
this
Walker
topic up.
back was good for you guys. You needed Kenneth Walker back.
Yeah, we need to use him too.
And
Yeah.
you guys did. He had 7 receptions for 57 yards, which is more than DK. So that is concerning for you guys. But I'm always high on Geno. I think he's a good player, and he had 72 rushing yards
Yeah.
on 4 rushes, which scares me for Atlanta because we normally like QBs out of the pocket, but everything else is
That
will be
JSN
half
play.
He's old and bold.
That JSN play when he lured 2 defenders
Yes.
away from Geno.
Yeah, I saw
That was
that.
genius.
That was a
DK
brilliant play.
That is
DK the year
peak football.
prior did something similar to the same team too,
Yeah.
where he pretended like he was catching it to draw away for Lockett. So high quality IQ plays.
But I'll go kind of quick. I've never been high on Brock Purdy, and last week kind of showed without all these weapons, he just can't really get a whole lot going. Brandon Ayuk finally had a good game after begging for all that money. I don't think he has that good of a game against you guys, Seattle. I could see George Kittle having a good game.
Yeah,
Because
because
I
we
feel
don't.
like you guys
yeah.
give up a lot to tight ends
Well-
rather than receivers, but
I think that's debatable. It all
it's
depends
like
on if Julian Love is in the game or not. Because right now he's questionable.
I'd honestly say when it's like a all-pro type of tight end like George Kittle or Travis Kelce, I guess not the Travis Kelce this season, but like George Kittle or someone.
Typically,
of him,
yes.
of his stature.
History has shown that we're not that great at it, but I have a good feeling about this
I
game.
think it'll be a close game. Closer than people
Yeah,
think.
closer than most think. I like it. Hunter?
Yeah, I'm going to make this short and quick. The Brock Purdy downfall is here, and I am here for it. I have never been high on Brock Purdy. I think he's been
Yes.
carried by his
Yes.
offenses every
Yes, he
year.
has.
Praise be.
I'm on the show tomorrow, so I make all my picks, but I'm going to make this pick early. I'm taking the Seahawks tomorrow in Seattle. It's in Seattle, right? To win. Are they going to be in their green jerseys?
No, they're the retro throwbacks.
Oh, they're
They'll be on
throwbacks.
their throwbacks, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, pick
man.
the Seahawks.
You
Pick
guys
the
cannot
Seahawks.
lose with those.
If you
We
lose with
cannot.
those on,
Please
I'm
don't.
going to be clowning you next week. It's
You
gonna be
already
brutal.
will.
It's going to be brutal.
I have. You
It's
already
gonna
will.
Be brutal.
All right.
It will be
But-
more brutal than
yeah.
you could ever
You're gonna
imagine.
bully me out of existence.
I will.
I got the Seahawks in that game tomorrow. but
Love to hear
yeah.
it, Hunter. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know what? You gave me my energy for the day. Mason, tell me something good.
I mean, you look at it, and I am on record to be a 49ers hater. But to me, the way I'm looking at it, we're talking about the Seahawks being the frauds. To me, it's the battle of the frauds. Like when I'm looking at it, oh, Brock Purdy, oh, I'm so sad. I only have two all-pro level receiving options instead of 3. Christian McCaffrey's not there, but Jordan Mason can still rush for 100. I don't know what to do. He just can't catch. Like, bro, how much? If you're looking at the 49ers, on paper, they should still, even without CMC, with Jordan Mason playing how he's been playing, they should still be amazing. But they're looking just as fraudulent as the Seahawks. They just lost to the Cardinals, who to me are a clearly worse team than the Seahawks. Maybe that might be a hot take to some people, but I feel like for most people, if you look at the Seahawks versus the Cardinals, you probably are taking the Seahawks almost 9 times out of 10. At least
Correct.
I am. So when I'm looking at it, Brock Purdy just is not that guy to me. He's cool, like he's a good guy. He's probably a family man, probably an okay guy, you know. But he's football is just like he's just not a top level talent. And I feel like the Seahawks can go out there if they give the ball to K9. That's their best player on that team, in my opinion. They give the ball to him more and let him do what he has to do. Hit JSN more often. Now, this might be because I have them both in fantasy, maybe not. But they're both great players. The Seahawks have the weapons, and I feel like they can go out there and upset the 49ers, if it's even an upset.
I like it. And there is a fact out there that I will say before we end our show is that the Seahawks are, I believe, 1-7 or 1-5 when Kenneth Walker gets the ball under like 5 carries or something like that. So definitely have to run it a lot more. I think he's a vital piece for our offense in order to get that running.
100%.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, that's going to do it for us here on Hawk Talk Wednesday edition. Tune in to more 91.7 The Edge alternative and hip hop here on the station. 91.7 The Edge.